Hello guys, this is Maple Flavored Bacon and I've come to bring you a video on my thought process on how I feel that Classic WoW will be or potentially be a very positive thing on retail WoW. But before I get into that, I must explain why I feel that retail does not feel like it used to be. And first of all, let's just get the elephant out of the room. I do feel like Blizzard is partly to blame for that. But I don't think it's all their fault. I think the community itself, whether you want to think so or not, is just going to change, and that's inevitable. And I feel like that's what has caused WoW to feel different. And I think that's, like I said, it Blizzard is partly to blame for that, for some of the mechanics they have created in the game, like the whole garrison thing and warlords and stuff like that. Now, I will say that I do think Blizzard has tried their best to revert that a bit, but I feel like the damage overall has really just been already done. I, however, I don't feel like that damage is permanent, and I think that's where Classic WoW comes in. Now, I'm not thinking that Classic WoW is perfect. I think the flip side, yes, Classic I feel is going to be good, but I also think retail is bad for Classic, and you can see that in how it played in the beginning. It's still pretty bad. I won't lie. There's still some aspects of retail in Classic, but I do think that people are starting to learn that you can't play Classic like you do in retail. It's not meant to be a single player. It's meant to be an online game that you play with others. And in my opinion, I think that's when WoW is the best, when you have to cooperate with other people. Now, I'm not saying that you should always have to cooperate with people 100% of the time. It's good to have things that you can do by yourself. I fully understand that. But there is a limit, and I do think Blizzard had crossed that limit, and specifically in Warlords, like I mentioned with the whole garrison thing. But like I said, they have tried to change that, but they haven't. I don't think they've done enough. I think they should keep going on with that. And considering some of the things that I saw in Shadowlands, I feel like they are going into the positive direction. And not just that, but the reason why I feel that Classic WoW will be a positive thing because that forces you to have to cooperate with people. People see that, hey, playing by myself, while it's fun sometimes, but uh, probably the most fun you have is with other people, whether you want to admit to that or not. And I feel like that will reflect onto retail. Now, I know what you're probably thinking, like, what? Like, there's probably some of you that are like, oh, well, I'm never going back to retail. I'm sticking on classic. And I know that there are people like that. But I don't think, I would go as far as to say that I think most people will eventually stop playing classic and go to retail when it comes to retail releasing new content. Because let's be honest, with classic, it's an amazing game. Okay, I love it. I play it all the time. But there's going to come to a point where there's not going to be anything new to do because it's just classic. It's not expanding like with new expansions, new content, and everything. Eventually, you are going to get tired of that. And when you do, you will probably go back to retail. I know that's probably a big pill for some people to swallow, but I think that eventually that will happen. And when that does happen, I feel like over time, all the time that you've spent on Classic, and it's changed your mindset and it's made you think that playing together is actually more fun, that I feel like that will reflect back on retail when players come back to a point. Now, it's possible that it could just go back to the way things were, but I don't. Like I said, I do think that Blizzard is working to make it where it doesn't feel too much like a single player. So I feel like in combination with that and the mindset that Classic has brought people, that I feel that retail could potentially become more like an online game again. I feel like people will learn that from Classic, and that's why I think that Classic could very potentially be a very positive thing for retail. At least I'm hoping so. I mean, everything I'm saying could be very wrong and it may not even happen. I don't know. I mean, I feel like we all kind of have our own theories when it comes to these things, and this is just one of mine. Because honestly, like, as much as I love Classic and I love playing it, to be honest, I would rather see retail be in a much better position than it is. I would rather see it make content that felt kind of like Classic. I mean, I don't want it to feel exactly like Classic because, I mean, I obviously want something new, but I want it to just to have that same feeling to it where you have to rely on other people and play with people. I mean, to me, I think that's when World of Warcraft is at its best. And I hope that they can expand on that and learn from Classic about what people really want. But yeah, this is just something that I've been thinking about, and I feel like, I really hope that Classic WoW is. I don't know if I want to say the savior for retail. I mean, I feel like maybe that's being a little dramatic, but I do feel like it can play a big part in making retail better, and I feel like that probably a vast majority of people would probably rather see than have to play something that they've already played. I mean, anyways, this is just my thought process on the matter. I don't know how you guys feel about it, or if you disagree with me, or whatever, but yeah, this is just something that I wanted to talk about with you guys and just see what you thought. If you agree with me or disagree, I'm sure you'll let me know. Anyways, peace out.